do we all go when washed away into the sea? Why do we all cry when someone goes, when they're set free? I knew when I was falling that this love would not last. I knew that I would have to say goodbye, but I chose you, the memory. And sleeping without you next to me, sometimes I'll check just to be sure. You show me what this life could really be. All I want is to be yours again. All I want is to be yours again. Where do we all go when washed away into the sea? Why do we all cry when someone goes, when they're set free? I lie awake afraid of what you think, or if you think of me at all. I look into your soul without a blink, and then you remember it all. Forget about the lies, your man, the past. I'll take you where you need to go. But now I wonder if it all will last. All I want is to be yours again. All I want is to be yours again. Where do we all go when washed away into the sea? Why do we all cry when someone goes, when they're set free?
Hello everyone. I'm building boxes, if you're wondering what all that screeching tape sound was. Why do I want boxes? I'll tell you why I want boxes. Because I need roxes. And to make roxes, you need boxes. So, I've been doing this two-step process where I start by making XPS foam, where I get the general shape and like down to some secondary and maybe even tertiary details, though a lot of the tertiary is going to get lost in this next step of the process. After that, I cast them by just doing a throwaway mold, essentially, in plaster, and then I press epoxy clay into that plaster mold, pull it out, and then I can do like final, tertiary, and even quaternary detail levels on it where it gets super realistic. So that's what I'm going for. I'm trying to make this whole little collection of rocks that can be stuck together in, oh man, sometimes these ones are hard to do, but stuck together in lots of different formations. So that's the big picture we're working on right now. I mean, these, again, are going to be cast and, well, molded and then cast into a different material. Probably something like this foam, which is squishy and flexible and paintable. And so you can imagine taking these and being able to put them on anything. Let's say you've got your wargaming terrain is just like that, you know, like, okay, I want a little hill mountain thing here. Well, you can just kind of glue these things on with hot glue and you can bend them around the corners or whatever. And I'm gonna have a variety of different shapes that you can do that with. These ones are fun because the each of the sides is the same length. So you have every possible sort of configuration you can stick them in. And then these ones is a collection of 4 of these, but put together in a way that kind of disrupts that. You know, if you put too many of these single ones together, you're going to start to see the straight line patterns, even though I do what I can to break that up. But anyway, yeah, so what I'm hoping to do today is get my temporary plaster cast done for these 2 next set of rocks, which I've got this idea that if I break it into 2, 1 for each side, then the cool thing is I can stick those 2 together and the middle point here is always going to be perfectly flush and fit together, but on any given side there can be sort of up and down detail of it. So, yep, that's what's happening. And so I think I've got some watertight boxes now, and I can, these guys just barely fit in there, but because it's just a garbage mold, I don't even care if there's like places where it touches the side. Not a big deal for my particular purposes right now. However, I do want to put in some spacers here so that I'm not wasting, like, you know, plaster is cheap, but still, no reason to waste it if you don't have to, right? So I just want to put these little guys in here. I did that on that box. This box that is going to contain these 2 guys, like so. Boop. Yeah. So we'll come back to that shortly. I hope everyone's having a good day today. My day has been just fine. Just fine. I had a really rough weekend. I had a great weekend until Sunday, and then I had a really rough time because I had to murder a baby rabbit. And I'm not a farm kind of person who's used to inflicting death and dismemberment on animals, and it really wrecked me. I've legit been having like PTSD episodes, like not like shell shock, but like just really bad feels about it that keep coming up. Uh, there was so this little baby bunny ran into our house. Um, it was like so it was the week before, I think, or several days before, because I was shooting the big Colossus videotaping the big Colossus and the diorama that we were working on earlier. And I had the door open because I was using a fog machine, which gives my wife headaches. So I try to keep that fog down. But the neighbor lets their cat run free, and so I think the cat chased the baby bunny and it ran into our downstairs. And so we spent hours like scouring the whole house trying to find this thing. Later in the evening, it was in the garage, and so we had this big epic thing while I was streaming of like trying to wrangle the thing out. Eventually it got out. Yay. Go baby bunny. So we were happy about that. But then on Saturday I was mowing the lawn and I saw a little jumping going on, and I was being careful because I knew, hey, baby bunny's in the area. And so I saw it. It was up against our little garden, like raised garden bed box. And so I just put a little cover, like pot over it, and then lifted it up, put it in the garden bed. Figured it'd be safe there while I finished mowing. But I think what happened was it had been actually wounded by the cat, because we saw it later, and it had like a big chunk of fur out of it and like flesh exposed under there, and it wasn't like very responsive to us. And so that was sad, but it was like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll leave it in the garden bed for the evening, and gave it water and dandelions and see how it's doing the next day. The next day, it was not in there. It's like, okay, well, that means it was healthy enough to find a way to hop out of there, so that's good. However, then I was mowing in the evening, and I was going through it was the first mow of the season, so there's tall grass everywhere. And I don't think I hit it with the lawnmower, but I think the wheel like maybe got its leg or something, but it was like totally messed up. Like this thing was not going to survive anymore. And so Heather was like calling the animal shelter to see if we could drive it there so they could put it down, and I was like, this thing is just obviously suffering a lot. I don't want it to suffer for another hour drive in the car, and then however much time it takes there. It's just so I had to do the right thing, which was incredibly traumatizing for me. Normal and healthy to feel that way. Yeah, I mean, I like to think so. But it sure ain't a good feeling. Especially because my wife started just like bawling her eyes out when I did it. And she is not a crier. She never cries. Like, I can count on half a hand the number of times I've seen her cry. And we've been married almost 16 years. So yeah, that was rough weekend, and then subsequent rough nights, and anyway, yeah. Nature is a cruel beast, and I hate it when I end up being recruited into the cruelty of nature. I like to pretend it doesn't exist, you know? I just want it to be all Pocahontas, colors of the wind. Also, how you doing, Ding Dong and Zachariah? You're the weepy one? Yeah, no, same here. I will absolutely cry at so many different scenes in movies. It's even caught me on a commercial or two. I'm like, oh my god, stop it. I was trying to figure out the pattern of what it is that makes me cry. Because, you know, it's not everything. And it's not like when a sad thing happens, usually in like, you know, a movie or story or whatever. Sometimes that. But I think what it actually is when a person does the right thing for another person. I don't know, maybe it's just because I perceive that as such a rare thing in this world, that it just makes me like long for a world where that, you know, a different world where that is how everyone always is. I also really resent that I have to mow my lawn. I don't want a lawn with grass. I hate everything about grass lawns, except for the way they look. I mean, I can't lie. Aesthetically, it's very beautiful to have like a perfectly green carpet covering a large area of place. Like I understand why the aristocracy of the 15 or 1600s or whenever that started getting developed as a signature of wealth. Like, I understand how that started, but man, we need to put that in the past. It is so bad for the ecology. It's so bad for, like, it's bad for everything except the perceived value of a home. And that makes me sad. Cried in Star Wars 9 when Chewie got his medal. Oh wow. Now that is a cry I did not share with you. I may have been crying on the inside for lots of reasons during that movie, but none of it was for sentiment. I had an art director at ArenaNet who he gave a talk. Like we would have, you know, art team talks from time to time, and he was saying that it's actually good to cultivate your cry muscles, to cry as often as possible for any reason that you could find. You know, whether it's beauty or sadness or grief or joy or whatever. Just as an artist. He says he tries to cry at least 2 or 3 times a day. It's like, wow, that's maybe on an end of a spectrum I can't quite reach, but interesting take. I'm wondering if I should put like little ones in these areas too. I think if that gives an advantage at all. Saves not worth it. Don't need to overthink this. Well, I mean, I do because I'm me, and that is how I do, but still. I shouldn't push myself to do it even more. You cry at weird times? CPTSD things, I don't remember. Oh, I don't know what CPTSD is. What does that stand for? Is that combat? Oh my god, ding dong, you're right. That was super meta. I was thinking about how I should be thinking. But I was not thinking about my thinking about thinking. You thought about that, so congrats. Complex PTSD. Doesn't come from a single trauma, from multiple traumatic instances over a long period of time. That makes sense. Battlefield fatigue? Fatigue. That's a nice euphemism. I mean, it was originally sort of discovered, quote unquote, in World War I, right? Where they called it shell shock. I did not know as recently as 2008 it had a euphemism with the word fatigue in it. That seems, I mean, I understand why for obvious reasons, but I don't like those reasons. Warrior's Madness. Oh, I hadn't heard that one. Yeah, you're just tired out. You just need a little nappy poo. That should solve your battlefield fatigue, right? Sometimes you just need breaks. You get bored with doing one thing too much. Yeah, I mean, not actively re-traumatizing yourself over and over again. That's a start. That's a good start. But yeah, it does not actually solve the problem. I mean, the thing with war is that, from what I can tell, as a non-warrior who has not so much as ever even punched anyone, uh, it seems like essentially what we're trying to do is elicit psychopathic behavior in non-psychopaths, and that's gonna have a toll, right? I mean, even, you know, people who like kill or wound heavily in self-defense, you know, you're doing something that is contrary to the nature of a social primate in many ways. Not always, obviously. There are plenty of social primates out there that are just absolutely brutal. But clearly, whatever happened in human biological evolutionary history, where we departed from our common ancestors with chimps, it seems we went more the bonobo way than the chimp way. Try to develop more non-lethal alternatives and safety devices. You mean for like defensive purposes, like home defense? You're trying to invent non-lethal home alone traps? For assisting refugees with... Okay, yeah. Clothes iron on rope. What is, I don't know what those two words, clothes and iron, mean together. I mean, I know what an iron for ironing clothes is, but putting that on a rope... Oh! Home Alone. Oh my god. It was my own reference. Spat back at me and I didn't even recognize it. I apologize. That's true, yeah. Big role there. Amazing acting. Some might say the best acting. Oh yeah, he's gonna do the Gotti. Oh, sorry. No political figures. I mean, we were talking about an actor technically, but that's fair. That's fair. Dangerous territories, dangerous waters. These. Is that a real thing? The Gotti? I feel like it was. Right, there is actually a person or two that has got all of those awards. I only know it from 30 Rock. You can never be sure what's real in that show and what's not. That's right, Ding Dong. We will completely ignore you if you start running for office. John Gotti was an actual criminal. That's true. That's true. Grammy, Oscar, Tony. What was the other one mentioned? Oh, EGOT. EGOT. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you for the correction. Yes, exactly. That's the only reason I know of it too. And apparently I didn't know it very well since I got it completely wrong. I Gotti'd it completely wrong. Okay. I think that's all of the little spacers that I need. I hope. Okay. That was that this one? Did I put the other one in a box already? Yes, the other one is in its box. Yay. Thinking ahead. That's what I'm doing today. Okay, before I glue this down, probably best to slather it up first. Let me find my slather stuff. There it is, my official slatherizer. Gwyneth Paltrow was on Shark Tank? Oh, wow. You're saying she didn't respond, like she didn't react or laugh or cringe or anything? I mean, I could see, you know, you're in a performance mode or whatever, so maybe you're not registering everything like you would in normal. It was probably the job of whoever was making the joke to really sell it. Like, we'd have to go, what's the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? That's how I would have done it. Yeah, the Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's kind of new age, all natural product line. I had a friend who was trying to get me to help him out with a company selling crystal, like, apparently it's a big thing. People buy these a lot. Basically, it's just a resin crystal shape that you embed various things in, various, you know, mystical or things that are attributed with some sort of healing or helping properties. That's not really what I want to spend my time doing, though. Who knows? I could be a millionaire if I had done it. Why am I putting petroleum jelly on here? Because I'm going to be pouring plaster over this, and if I don't put a layer of petroleum jelly, it's just like 50% harder to tear it all out of there. As it is, there's going to be some chunks that are stuck and left in there, but could be worse. It does sound like a parody name, doesn't it? Like if someone was gonna... There was some show or movie that had a, you know, a clear parody of her and her company. And I remember, you know, thinking the parody name was like, no, like worse than, or funnier, I guess, than Goop. It's hard to parody a lot of things these days, just because, I don't know, I guess you could get a lot of traction by being ridiculous to begin with. Okay. Got that all lubed up. Speaking of Goop, all lubed up. You know, it probably doesn't bother Gwyneth Paltrow that change one letter and it becomes poop, because you know, she makes, or there are products that are used for all sorts of purposes related. I'm not going to go into details, that's not appropriate for this stream. I'm just going to say related. Okay. Maybe easiest to just go here. Did the guy who invented petroleum jelly eat 3 cups of it a day? That definitely sounds like one of those 2 truths and a lie factoids that is equally plausible to be true or not. Seems like whenever anything in general is invented or discovered, it's seen as a panacea, you know, a cure-all for everything. And people do ridiculous things with it. Only a spoonful. Coward. Should have done 3 cups. Where would petroleum jelly go on the food pyramid? Like between fruits and vegetables and bread? Hold that down for a bit. Just a bit. Ooh, the 24th quarterly community contest is here. Oh, it was the new food pyramid, now a pie? That sounds delicious. The food trapezoid? Okay. Got 2 boxes done. 1 more box to go. These little guys. Oh yeah, someone needs to alert Reaper. That's not how quarters work. That's really good feedback. These ones are a little bit fragile. I always appreciate your feedback, Diddley. Although I think in the same way I'm tuned to cry a little too frequently, maybe, I'm also kind of tuned to be a little too receptive to feedback, regardless of the quality of the feedback. So I'm afraid my feedback to you is that I can't give you good feedback on the quality of your feedback. Might be good, might be terrible, I don't know. I just know that I appreciate it, you know? Okay. Vaseline done. Now I have a healthy slathering of it all over my fingers. I expect to grow 2 inches this week, thanks to such a healthy dose. Grandma and my home ec teacher would teach me to stir round and round and then up and down. But Japanese study by scientists say it's not the best way to stir. They say up and down, back and forth, randomly. Randomly? Now that's just begging for misinterpretation. By up and down, do you mean like depth into the pot, or do you mean the kind of X coordinate away from your body? This is important. Those 2 very different things. Fluid dynamics. I hear fluids are pretty dynamic, so it makes sense. Fluid dynamics also are important to bear in mind when you're thinking of disease vectors for airborne diseases like the COVID and such, which is why, you know, me and my wife have not had COVID yet, And one of the main reasons is because we always mask, and we do so when we are in situations where, masking yourself isn't super protective for yourself. It's better than nothing, but it's not super protective. It's mostly to help others around you. But the other thing is that if you're in a large volume of airspace, the fluid dynamics, depending on how the ventilation system is set up, usually pull air up and away from people, which is why we'll go to malls if it's not too crowded from time to time. We'll go to the grocery store, and honestly, that's about it. That is about the risk tolerance, because she would likely, if not die, her life would be incredibly worse given all her comorbidities, pre-existing conditions. Which makes it really annoying when you're out in a place where no one else has masks, which is one thing. It's like, okay, that's your choice. It's not law, whatever. But then when you get like dirty stares, like people are mad at you for wearing a mask. Not a fan of that. You stir up 3 colors of liquid, then reverse spin, and the colors separate? I don't think I've seen that. You were 3x vaccinated? Yeah, same. But we don't have little kids, so we we don't have to deal with that particular vector. My kiddos are grown, so. That's what I recommend. Just have your children be grown adults who aren't at school all the time. You think you could convince them to just grow up? Grow up already, kids. Okay, cool. Let's pour some stuff and watch all the leaks spring out that I am not anticipating. It's gonna be hilarious fun. Hey Dog Snoopy. What's up is I'm making some rock molds right now. Carved some rocks out of this foam, and now I'm gonna make a mold of those rocks so I can make more, because you can never have enough rocks, especially cool flexible rocks like this. Okay, white powder is what I need. I'm going to pour a little bit of it here. This is actually, what is this called? Hydrocal, which I don't know if it technically is plaster in the same way that plaster is plaster, just a fancier, stronger one. I was watching a video about the 10 animals that evolution screwed over the worst. And one of them is the kiwi, that its egg. So the kiwi bird is, I think he said like 16 or 18 inches tall, but its egg is the same size as an ostrich egg. So absolutely wrecks that sad bird. Let that soak a little bit. Fiddle faddle does sound like a snack food. Did I say fiddle faddle? Did you see fiddle faddle? Did you taste? Are you smelling fiddle faddle? Are you having a stroke? Should I call 911? A little more. You're just smelling toast? Okay, that's good. Final Fantasy. How dare you? I am at least the penultimate fantasy. I'm not the final fantasy. Yeah, no, it's funny. My hair looks this way because I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to pay to have my hair cut. But I also like looking weird. So this is basically what it evolved into, because it's something I could do myself. It takes only like a minute or two to style in the morning, and it just works. And ironically, I don't like anime, but it totally is anime hair, so you know, whatever. Final Fantasy 1 is cool. Well, thank you, Dog Snoopy. Thank you. The secret is learning how to cut your hair with a razor. Turns out. I just happened across, like, I've never gone to a salon, you know what I mean? Like, I've only been to hair cutting places. But I just so happened to have a hair cutter who was clearly, like, one step ahead of most other cheapo hair cutters. And I was describing, I was just like, just experiment, do something weird or whatever. And they used the razor, and I was like, oh my god. You can, wait a minute, I can do that. And so I paid them to steal their technique and never go back. Pro tip. Pro tip. Alright. I'm gonna guess this might not even be enough for even one, let alone all of them, but let's find out. Oh, and I forgot to find my little vibrator doohickey. I have like a back massage thing that helps get all the bubbles out. And I was like, next time I do this, I gotta remember to find it first. Did I? I did not. Yeah, that's another way to go. Just buy a razor. Use it as long as possible. And have a small amount of hair. That also helps. Ding Dong, you used to have long, thick hair. Yeah, it's interesting that, like, for some people, hair is just like, I don't care that you're in your 20s. I'm out of here. I'm out of hair. No, that's what you say. Okay. How much? Should I just use the rest of this? It's not that much left. Just. Okay, so now I know that I need probably 3 times that amount for the next batch. Try the comb back. Yeah, it can only last so long. Alright. You go over here. Hang out. Get some more Wawa. Just dumped it in back there because it puts up a bunch of fumes, not fumes, smoke, haze, powder in the air that's not great to breathe. Do not recommend breathing it. So while I'm waiting for that to do its thing, do a little bit of rock carving here. So after this plaster that they're in dries, basically I'm pushing this clay. This is made of freeform air, which is a really nice lightweight clay, but it's a 2-part epoxy. And so it carves really nicely. It's lightweight, and like you can see as you chip it, it actually like fractures in a rock-like way. In the same way that like this XPS foam is good because you can do things like that and just like chip it off and get a rock-like look really easily just by doing that sort of thing. Right? So similar to that, but unlike this stuff, I could get in there and get super duper pooper detailed, do like tiny little flakes that get to like this kind of detail level where it's that's my goal, is to like match some reference. There's a variety of materials you can use that are rock-like. There's different kinds of like bark chips. You know, you can use actual rocks. Most of those molds that they sell are made from coal, like chipped bits of coal, because those also flake and break in a similar way to this. But the nice thing about this clay is that I can put it in like literally any configuration, shape, or size I want, and get it to still look fairly natural, which is important because I'm trying to make something that tiles. Bald is definitely beautiful. Ben Franklin, true. But do you think the fact that he tried to get the turkey to be the national bird had something to do with maybe like big feather envy? Very spiteful of turkeys. Yeah. Always gallivanting around town, showing off their massive plumage. You were attacked by turkeys. Oh, that's rough. Yep. Yeah, that'll do it to you. Every Thanksgiving, you get the story again, huh? Yeah. My parents' story about turkeys is that they lived close to a turkey farm, and they would walk by it fairly regularly. And one of the days they were walking happened to be the maiden voyage of maybe the Goodyear blimp or something in that area. And the turkeys just freaked the F out and all like stampeded towards one side of the field and just crushed up against the fence, killing a bunch of them. And then that turkey farm sued whoever the blimp people were. Yeah, totally. Have you seen that is it Dinosaur Planet or Planet of the Dinosaurs or something? I think the second season is coming out in a couple days. But yeah, it's very much the most current thinking on dinosaurs, which is super duper pooper bird like. They're all acting, looking like birds. Dinotopia is delightful. I have a signed copy. It's weird that no studio has done like a big budget Dinotopia TV series or movie series with, Jurassic Park being as popular as it is and, fantasy obviously being a contender in the marketplace. I know they made a low budget, really crappy, was it a TV miniseries? Maybe on Sci-Fi Channel in the early aughts, I think. Did not do it justice, if I recall. It was ABC. Okay. Alright, let's see how well this does. plop. Wow, that may have been like almost the perfect amount. A little mallet action. Let's try that. The dinosaur puppet TV show. I never really watched it. I was aware of it, but I saw maybe an episode or two back when it was airing. Yeah, it was definitely honeymooners. Like the dad talked like, what's his nuts? Was he the guy that would just casually threaten his wife with spousal abuse in the show? One of these days, Alice, pow, right in the kisser. Getting some bubbles out. I'm not too worried, like super concerned about bubbles because, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of, alright, calm down. Going to be carving over most of the surface anyway, adding details everywhere. So wherever there's a bubble in this mold, it's going to end up being like a little pimple, or maybe end up looking like a little piece of gravel, like stuck in the cracks, and that's fine. Okay, so now we have that out of the way. I wanted to get back. Let's see, got a couple more minutes. Should I? I'm gonna be working with my beautiful sketchbook. I kind of feel like not getting Vaseline and whatever this powdery stuff is all over. Give me 1 minute to go wash my hands. I made it, everyone. Congrats to me. Okay, last time we left off, I was trying to figure out how to pose this particular character. Do I need to put another thing over this thing? I don't want to have to thing another thing right now. Oh, I know. Here's what I can do. I can just roll this thing back. So this guy right here, I was looking up baseball, like the pose of swinging a baseball bat, to try to figure out what he should look like, and then I ended up just having my son pose for me, and that I think is going to be a little more helpful. And I put the camera low because purposely the camera is low in this shot, so I tried to match more or less the perspective. Yeah, so in this case we've got shoulder forward, and arm bent a little bit. Okay, so forward shoulder here, back shoulder here. And then we've got hips tilted back that way, so I don't know why this eraser keeps wanting to, like when I put pressure on it, it spins back into its little hole. Okay. So front hip, back hip, front leg, down there, down there. Okay, so something like that. Oh no, my reference went away. There it is. Let's see, we got more of a forward lean. So the spine is kind of doing a back like that thing. Oh man, what a mess. It's probably be easier just to start redrawing from scratch at this point. Let's see, so this shoulder is blocking the bottom part of his face. And going down. Let's see, thumb there. Yeah. Oh man, speaking of Alice murdering him in his sleep, just finished a show that was like another interesting deconstruction of the sitcom called Kevin Can F Himself. that is a sitcom. Like the writing style, the line delivery, and the lighting is sitcom whenever the husband is in the scene, and then whenever the husband leaves the scene, everything shifts to like premiere drama TV. So like the lighting gets really dim, the characters all act like grounded and realistic, and yeah, so it's really interesting how it kind of plays with that dynamic throughout the series. It's a really interesting, like, arty premise. Doesn't quite live up, like, do enough with the premise for me personally, but it had a satisfying conclusion. Had the girl from Schitt's Creek on it. Ew, David, no. But she's got more range than that, don't worry. Got a shoulder blade coming back there. Here and back. Am I gonna need to just trace this? Come on. Come on, Josh. Be an artist. You can do this. Art harder! Can I shrink this? Ooh, can't. No, it went away. Go back. Oh, really? Won't just stay there for me? Jerk. Oh, this is a problem. Okay. The fact that his back foot is higher up in the frame means that I'm not actually low enough to have the perspective correct, right? Because the horizon line is actually here, whereas in my picture the horizon line is beneath the start of his feet. I would actually have to like put him up on a table or something to get an accurate angle. Ugh. I say. Okay, well, I'm just going to work on the monster and I'll come back to this. One thing I feel like I did get kind of nicely was a cool little spiral of motion leading to Beaumark's face and the monster's eye, kind of. And I was going to accentuate that by giving this guy like a scarf or something that's flying up behind him. What I might also do is get a different pose from Shane, one where his other arm is out here, you know, that like, I don't know, like a big swing where one arm is sort of counterbalancing yourself. That would further help get that flow. All right. Yeah. So one of the things I'm trying to figure out is what exactly is going on with this back leg. It's kind of in an awkward spot because he has 3 legs because they're all like mutated in some way or another. So I could have it growing out of his spine, or I could have it just like another, like one of his sides has a second hip joint, essentially. So like the pelvis would be, you know, have its normal joint here and then have another joint up there. Because I don't see a way of pulling a leg out of the tailbone. That's just like, even as a mutant, that's not how limbs work. So I think I'm gonna try it this way. which case I might want to bring this foot down like so. Got his knees smashed, so he's like crumbling down. But the third leg, you would expect it to be like, I wonder if maybe having the third leg coming out here. But the more these overlap, the harder it's going to be to read the composition of what's going on. I guess I could do this leg also in the kneeling pose. Okay, let's do a little quick experimenting. So both legs are coming forward. Then he's got like a back tripod leg doing that sort. That looks weird. It looks like he's just sitting on a funny chair. The other thing, I could bring both legs down so he's on both of his primary knees. Like so. Let's see, so the horizon line's up here, so this knee would be further down in the frame. This knee would be further up. And then if there's a third leg, if it was, could the third leg be crossing over in front? Maybe I need to just ditch the third leg idea. This is one of the reasons why I really like illustrating my novels, is because there's all sorts of things that you can just write and just, you know, kind of imagine vaguely in your mind, but then when you have to actually execute that for, you know, the TV show or the game or whatever, it doesn't, you know, things have to be changed in order to make it work. And I hate that. I don't want that. When my stories get adapted, I want it to be no reason to change. It really annoys me when adaptations change things for no apparent reason, just because they can, you know? I understand there's a lot of times where they just have to, and that's the kind of thing I'm trying to avoid, is the have to part of the equation. Because something just doesn't actually make sense if you think it through or visualize it. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should give him a third arm instead of a third leg. Let's do that. Way easier to design and animate. Original reference out here. That's it. Where you at? I know you're towards the end, but where? Where towards the end? Oh my God, has anyone played Elden Ring? Look at this thing I drew like 15 years ago. Elden Ring, you owe me. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. There they are. Oh, right. I did like a third leg where it was growing out of the, like at the knee, it start to split. I wonder if that's an option. I should try that. Okay, but we're out of time. So, they are kind of like mandrake roots. Uh, yeah, I was trying to get the leg to go the other way at first, and everything just looked wrong. Like, not wrong in a cool way, but wrong in like it's just illustrated wrong or just plain confusing. So, anyway, let's go rate someone, and I'll see you guys on the next week. Will I be done with this illustration, or will we just be picking it up again? I don't know. We'll find out. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Check out all my links. I'm on the YouTubes. That's a fun place to see more of my art and tutorials and stuff. All right. Catch y'all later. Bye.